You don't need more time, you need more energy. The way you structure your week determines whether you're exhausted by Wednesday or still strong by Sunday. Welcome back to the Hybrid Athlete Dad podcast. Super excited to be having you tuning into today's episode where I'm going to be discussing how to structure your week for maximum energy. Now, before I dive into today's episode, I like to go over anything in my life that I think that you may find interesting when it comes to fitness, when it comes to nutrition, or just life in general. So, kicking that off, went to the gym on Wednesday, on not on Wednesday, on Thursday, and Thursday happened to be Thanksgiving last week, and I decided that I was going to get up at my normal time. Our gym didn't open until 7. Typically it opens at 5:30 in the morning, but they've added a nice, I think it's kind of smart, honestly, perk where if you pay an extra $10 a month, you get 24 hours access, which is nice. So I was able to get in, and typically on Thursdays I get up a little bit earlier. Get up about 20 minutes before I usually get up, so I get up at 4:30. I go to the gym, get my workout done. I knew that we were going to be traveling on the holiday, driving in the car for about 2.5 hours. Just wanted to get my workout done in the morning. So just went through my normal routine and had the entire gym by myself. Was at the gym from about probably a little after 5 until about 7, which was nice. So about 2 hours at the gym. And I also did some running there because I knew that I was going to be doing running later in the day and just wanted to pick up some miles at the end of my workout because, again, I knew that I'd be driving in the car on the holiday. But yeah, no, it's nice. It's funny. It's happened to me one other time. I believe it was on Memorial Day where I went to the gym and there was just no one in there. So it was nice. I try to stick to my routine as much as I can. I find it works best for me. So I was able to work out in the gym all by myself, and it was it's strange. I mean, you think in the back of your mind, like, okay, like, let's make sure that nothing happens. And my worry was doing deadlifts and just not breathing and just not that I would stop breathing, but more just stop breathing while I'm doing the actual lift and passing out and hoping that I wake up and that everything would be fine, which I would imagine so. But that's the only worry I had in the back of my mind. But was able to still get that workout in, still able to get the full workout in, did the deadlifts, no problem at all, and really enjoyed it. Now, fast forward to this week. So now we're a week out from Thanksgiving, or we're a few days out from Thanksgiving. It's the start of a new week. Start of December when I'm recording this episode. Planning on Tuesdays is typically when I do my longer run. So I typically do right now about 7 to 8 miles on Tuesdays. Where my other typical runs are about 5 to 6 miles on any given day. So gonna have to figure out what to do this week to reroute my run a little bit. I know I've talked about it before, but I don't enjoy running if I'm very sick. If I'm coughing up a lot of phlegm, hard to breathe. If it's ice out, black ice, again, not enjoyable. I'm not going to be an idiot. Or if it's more of like a slush, I don't mind running in the rain. I have no problem with that. It's more like a slush where it's like a sleet mixture between rain and snow. That's not enjoyable as well. But this week, I don't mind running in the snow, but we're supposed to get 7 to 11 inches of snow on Tuesday of this week, and that's from about 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So you're looking at about, I don't know, maybe half an inch to an inch per hour of snow, and I get more worried that someone's not going to see me, even though I would wear my reflective clothing that I would typically wear. I just get worried that there might be cars on the road and that someone may not see me because it is going to be probably whiteout out there. So thinking about what I want to do. Maybe do I want to run some miles on the treadmill, get some miles in outside, maybe just do a 2 or 3 mile run outside in the neighborhood right near me where I don't have to really run on the main road. But just gonna see how I feel. Maybe I bump up the long run a little bit later in the week, which would prefer not to do, but maybe I end up having to do it. So sometimes it's just having to switch up your schedule, whether it's dealing with family, whether it's dealing with the weather, things that are just totally outside of our control. But this is December, last month of the year. Let's finish it strong. Let's go out on a high note and just carry this momentum over into the new year. It's not a time to play it easy, to play it safe. It's a time to push yourself, to grind it out, and just knowing that you're carrying this momentum over into the new year, especially when you look at, we have about 3 weeks when I'm recording this episode right now. When this episode goes live, we'll have about 2 weeks until the week of Christmas. I don't want you packing it in. I always do want you to enjoy spending time with your family, but I don't want you packing it in. I want to make sure that you're putting in the work, that you're going to the gym, that you're eating right, that you're showing up for your family, that you're putting in the effort, whether it's at your job or whether it's you running your own business, and just pushing in that effort over these last couple of weeks of the year. Again, welcome back to the episode. Welcome back to the Hybrid Athlete Dad podcast, where in today's episode, again, I'm going to be talking about how to structure your week for maximum energy. Energy is greater than time. Time is fixed, whereas energy is fluid. We all have the same amount of 24 hours in the day. It doesn't matter if I'm me, if it's Bill Gates, if it's Elon Musk. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. Whereas energy is fluid. What do I mean by that is, do I have more energy than you, or do you have more energy than me? How am I showing up? How am I engaged? How do I feel going throughout the day? Energy is fluid because we all are going to have different energy levels depending on our performance, how we sleep, how we eat, the movement that we have in our life, what's going on at work, stress, no stress. Any life event, energy is going to be fluid. Now, when it comes to working out, which part of the day do you perform best? Is it in the early morning? Is it in the middle of the day? Is it maybe after work? Now, when it comes to building out your workout schedule around your highest energy window available. For me, the highest energy window I have available is early mornings. So again, typically getting up about 4:30 on Thursdays, 4:50 the rest of the week, and getting my workout in. I would probably prefer to be working out and lifting weights about 9 or 10 in the morning, not about an hour after I get up, but a few hours after I get up. But I work full time, so that doesn't work with my schedule. So I have to find the next best time that works for me. So maybe not working out in the middle of the day, maybe working out after work works better for you than early in the morning. Now, for me, when it comes to being in this hybrid training environment, I prefer strength first. Strength is more important to me than cardio. Now, if cardio is more important to you, then do cardio first and then strength second. So it's up to you. It's up to your preference. But for me, I know that if I run, it's just not going to be a good strength training workout. But I know that if I strength train, I still am going to have energy for cardio. So I set it up that way to make sure that I lift weights and then I run. And again, that's up to you. That's up to your preference, whether you're focused more on cardio and strength, but I prefer strength training first and then cardio second. Now, dipping a little bit back into why I like the morning routines, I find that's when I have the highest energy reserve. That's when I have the most energy throughout the day before I get going, before I don't want to say to deal with, but before our daughter wakes up and it's a fast moving day, before I have work, and there's a lot going on in that. There's no interruptions from kids, from work, from life. If I tried to work out in the middle of the day, it would be a disaster. There's always things coming up at work and in my personal life that I may have to deal with. And working out early in the morning, it helps me to build confidence and momentum for the day. Like, no matter what I did today, early in the morning, when I get my workout in, like, no matter what goes on during the day, like, that day was a win. By me getting up out of the gym when it's cold, when it's dark, getting up, going to the gym, getting my workout in, coming back home, like, that's already a win for my day and starts my day off on the right foot. Now, I want you to protect your energy from your life. Now, you're thinking, like, okay, like, what do I mean by that? Well, you have to have some non-negotiables. For me, workouts get treated like meetings. I always make sure that I show up. Like, I'm just thinking about it today, just, different meetings over time where you may have a meeting and someone doesn't show up or they're late. Like, I would never miss a meeting and not tell someone, or I would just never not show up for a workout unless there's extenuating circumstances that I can't control. So I make sure that working out is a non-negotiable. Same thing with running. Not every day do I feel like running. Today's run was a grind. It was only 5 miles. It was a grind, but it's a non-negotiable, so I make sure that I get it done. You have buffer days, so maybe you plan a little bit lighter training around, you know, being with your family or your work blocks or whatever that may be. Like for me, my buffer days are I make sure that I put in as much work as possible Monday through Friday so that I can have Saturday and Sunday off, and that works best for me. Most people would maybe prefer to run or lift one day on the weekend and have an extra day off during the week. But for me, I found that what works best for me is just putting in the work Monday through Friday. Then on the weekends, I'm not letting my diet go, but I'm just giving my body time a chance to rest and recover. Now, what is your sleep window? Again, this is another non-negotiable. I'm trying to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night. And I say, oh, I can work on 5 or 6 hours. Good for you. That doesn't work for me. I need at least 7, preferably 8 hours a night. So how am I going to structure the end of my day to make sure I get those hours in? It's having a nutrition baseline. So it's protein in every meal. It's hydrating in the morning, especially before you have coffee. The worst thing you can do is get up and have coffee right away. And when obviously you might need that little kick of caffeine, but it's just going to dehydrate yourself a little bit more, and that's not what I want for you. Apologies there, just taking a sip of the shaker bottle and right down at the bottom, and the I don't know what you call it, the ball was bouncing. And even having carbs around workouts, so I make sure that I get carbs before workouts. I make sure that I get carbs in after workouts. So it's making sure that I'm not just eating for enjoyment. Like everything I eat has to have a purpose. Now, I enjoy the occasional pizza. I enjoy the different foods that maybe aren't the healthiest, but I don't want to indulge in that every single day. I want to make sure that the food that I'm putting into my body has a purpose. Now, when it comes to being a dad, so I have a 2.5-year-old daughter, soon to be 2.5-year-old, and another daughter on the way at the end of March. My kids or my daughter's sleep schedule really helps me dictate my training window. So typically in the morning, she gets up about 7. She goes to bed about 8 p.m. every night. So I'm not going to work out after 8 p.m. But I'm going to get up at 7, before 7 a.m. And that's why I get up so early. I think before I had our daughter, I'd be at the gym and I would work out honestly, I'd probably be getting to the gym about 7 in the morning. But now that I want to make sure that I'm home in time for when my daughter wakes up, she dictates my sleep schedule. Now, not every day is going to be perfect. It was Black Friday, so the night of Black Friday, our daughter had a little bit of a cough. The cough ended up keeping her up. Then she was ready to party. She was ready to go. So Friday night, she was up from about 12:30 to 4:30. And that's typically a day I like to recover. So I made sure that, okay, I didn't get the best of sleep, obviously, on Friday night. On Saturday night, I want to make sure that I'm in bed early and that I do get a good night's sleep, hoping that our daughter doesn't wake up again coughing and is up throughout the night. Luckily, she wasn't. I was able to get that 9 hours of sleep, but just making sure that in the event that maybe you're up, maybe your son, maybe your daughter is keeping you up, is making sure that you're still able to get that consistent, good quality sleep. I want to show my family that I'm disciplined and that I'm not selfish, that I'm training before they wake, not going to the gym after our daughter gets put down so I can have some time with my wife, and then I'm communicating with my partner if I have to spend extra time at the gym or if I have to get a certain workout in or whatever that may be. So as an example, with Thanksgiving coming up last week, I know I talked about it a little bit on the previous episode, but I couldn't, I typically run 7 miles on Thursdays, so 2 at the gym, 5 outside. And I knew it was going to work out just given timing, given Thanksgiving. Thursdays, I have a pretty hard lift at the gym. I didn't want to run 7 miles on the treadmill after doing that. So ended up running 5 miles on Sunday. So getting up, letting her know, hey, I'm going to run 5 miles on Sunday. That way I can make it back on Thursday and I don't have to worry about running. So just having that open door of communication with your partner. Now, there's certain days of the week where typically Monday and Tuesday I'm doing heavier lifts, and maybe even a little bit on Thursday. On Wednesday, I like to break out with leg day. And then on Friday, I do another set of chest and bicep, but I do a lot of foam rolling. I do a lot of mobility work on Fridays. I do more ab work. I'm taking it a little bit later on the weights and more on those types of exercises. Now, when it comes to running, typically on Mondays, I like to kick it off with 5 miles just to get my legs going again. Then on Tuesday, I like to do the long run of the week. Now, I like doing my long run on Tuesdays just in case something comes up on Tuesday, such as a snowstorm this week, or something comes up later in the week, or something comes up early in the week, and I can push my long run off to later in the week. Now, some of the mistakes I want you to avoid is just doing random workouts, going to the gym in the morning or at night or in the middle of the day, and not really having any sort of set schedule. It's just going your absolute hardest every day and not getting enough sleep, not getting enough rest, and then blaming your training. Now, there's certain exercises where I want to peak in every week, such as deadlifts. Like, I'm going to go hard in deadlifts, but if I'm doing lateral raises, not that I'm going hard, but it's not as taxing on my body per se as it would be doing a deadlift. So I'm not doing a deadlift every single day that I'm going to the gym on top of my running. And then again, skipping rest and blaming my training. That doesn't make sense. It's easy to be sore when you go to the gym and you work out enough, but it's making sure that I get that rest at the end of the day. And as we come to the end of today's podcast episode, remember, you're not chasing fatigue, you're chasing performance. Dads, stay consistent by designing your workouts around energy, not ego. And when you manage your energy right, your workouts build you up, your business stays sharp, and your family gets the best version of you. Now, I hope you enjoyed today's episode on how to structure your week for maximum energy. And I hope you tune into next week's episode where I discuss creating non-negotiables in fitness and family.